You rolling? Okay.
We're ready.
So first, if we could just have you tell us your name.
My name is Evelyn Olivia Williams Bell.
Great. And if you wouldn't mind telling us your date of birth.
July 23rd, 1928, 95 years old.
Wow. Well, first, could you describe the neighborhood or the community that you grew up in?
Your neighborhood, how you and to
What?
talk about your neighborhood, how you grew up in your neighborhood.
Oh, in my neighborhood.
Yes.
I grew up here in Titusville.
Mhm.
I was born in Titusville. I really wanted to leave Titusville to go up north, but my dad said, no, we're going to stay right here. So I lived right here all these 95 years right here in Titusville. And I went to school in Titusville, played basketball in Titusville. I did all kinds of things in Titusville. And went to college, came back, started teaching in Titusville.
Okay. What was attending school here like for you? What was it like?
Name of the school?
No, how did you enjoy your school here in Titusville, teaching and all that?
Oh, and teaching.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was good. It was good.
Okay. How did you become a teacher?
Well, I'll tell you what. I went to. I had a friend who came from West Palm Beach, and she stayed with us during the summertime. So I went down. I went back with her and visited her during the summer. I did want to go to college, but I wanted to go in I wanted to be a nurse, but I wanted to become. I wanted to be in the service in the air post. So, but I came back home after visiting her during the summer. My mama said, you got to go to school. I said, oh, Lord. I said, I haven't intended to go. They packed me up, got me ready, and had my older sister, Miss Elmo, got me ready, and got me ready to go to Florida Memorial Industrial College in St. Augustine. And that's how I went. They made me go to school.
Tell me what you remember about Harry T. Moore.
Harry T. Moore. What do you remember about Harry T. Moore? Harry
Well, I
T.
remember
Moore.
about Harry T. Moore.
Yes, talk about him.
Well, and I have a little picture of my Harry T. Moore and what have. His daughters and I went to school together. And his wife taught us at Titusville Negro High School. And then my mom went to school up there where he was born, Live Oak. She knew him. And then they used to come visit us sometime. And he did a lot of little work by selling, he had some little cards or some little voter registration cards that he was selling for $1. And he would come and park his car in front of our house. And our house was right across the street from Titusville Negro High School. And that's how I came by knowing him through my parents and what have you.
Interesting. Do you remember what, when you started teaching, what the conditions of your employment as a teacher in Brevard County and
Well, when I started teaching in Brevard County, let me tell you what I did. I came out of college. The superintendent name was Mr. Hustler. He wasn't, he was something else. So, when I got out of college, the service people had just finished, a lot of them had come from United States Army and Air Force and what have you. So they attended school at night school. So the fellow who was over night school, he joined, he went into the service. And later on, he got up for Mr. Nixon, President Nixon care. He gave me my first job. For after he left, I took over teaching the men. And it was fun teaching the men because a lot of them couldn't read. And then we did a lot of other things. That was my first job teaching the veterans. And then from there, you want me to tell you about the others?
Sure.
Okay. From there, after teaching for so long with the men, I got a job in Melbourne, Florida, and teaching first grade and the 12th grade children. But the fellows were they had me teaching English. And I said I couldn't really teach because the fellows were too big. They're football players. And every time I would walk by, someone would touch me, whatever. So I went to the principal. The principal put me in first grade. And I started teaching first grade down there in Melbourne, Florida. From Melbourne, the superintendent, which I knew, gave me a position to come to Cocoa. I came to Cocoa, Florida, taught for 19 years in Cocoa. And there I taught first grade at the old school called Poinsett. And then from Poinsett, we had a new school. And then I was transferred from Poinsett, old Monroe, to new Poinsett. I taught first grade into about 19 years there, and I enjoyed that. It was very good teacher. I think I have pictures of that to show.
Now, when you started your teaching career, were you aware of the court case that John Gilbert, who was in Cocoa, well, when you we're starting again. When you began your teaching career, were you aware of the effort to equalize teacher salaries, the court case Gilbert versus the Board of Instruction?
Well, I remember a lot of the teachers didn't get, but just like if I taught school, I would get like $50. And the other teachers, the white teacher, would get like $100 and some dollars. They doubled the portion, but the salary would have it. So they got more money than we did.
Okay. Were you aware of the effort to try to equalize that?
Well, I was aware of that after a long time because they were talking about that. That was the talk of the town. But, but we needed work. And so whatever, if I didn't get my $50, I did my duty. I did whatever I was supposed to do. If I had to work 8 hours, I had to work 8 hours for the $50. But during that time, groceries and rent and all of it was not high.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about, you worked with Harry T. Moore, right? What was he like as a principal?
The principal?
Yeah, Harry T. Moore. Talk about Harry T. Moore as...
Harry T. Moore.
Yeah.
You told us how you met him, but you worked with him too, right?
I never worked with him.
Okay.
I went to school with his children.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, his oldest daughter and his youngest daughter. We went to school together. I think when he finished being the principal, something I was just graduating from high school in 1946. And that's when he retired, I think, from Titusville or Mims or somewhere he was working. But I knew him.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about what it was like as a student here.
As a teacher?
As a student. As you was a student in your class, Auntie. When you was a student in your school.
I was a student in school.
Oh my gosh. When you was a student, talk about when you was a student, when you went to school.
When I went to school, across the street was ready to head to school, type in Negro Color School. I went there, I finished there. So I went to first grade, and we had books. Peter and Peggy, Beta Ray, and all those little books like that. We had those books. Didn't have all the pages in the books and what have you, but, and then the teacher had a big chart which had the little stories on the chart, and that's how we were taught with the stories and what have you. We didn't have books like everybody had a book by themselves. We had to share. But I went from grade 1 all the way to grade 12. In 6th grade, I played basketball. The principal said, since your sister can play basketball and she does good, I'm going to teach you how to play. So when I was in 6th grade, I started playing basketball. And the building that we played in was so small until didn't have no ceiling up there. So that night, when we had a basketball game, he pulled me in to play, and I shot the ball. It went all the way to the top, but it came down in the goal. And then from then on, they had me playing like a training with my sister for playing basketball. But I enjoyed that. We played outside. We had laid on basketball. Played basketball outdoors. Outdoor court. When it was cold, we had a friend who would bring tires from off the old tires from the cars and heat, give us heat so that we can keep going. But whatever we had to do, that's what we did. Swings and things like that. We had like a tuber pole or something, go from one tree to another tree, and we had chains like to come down, and then they took like a tire from a car, and then that's how we sit in that little hole there, and that's how we did the swing. What my dad gave us a croquet set to play. We did a lot of things. A lot of people donated us because we didn't have the things that the other schools had. But as long as we had enjoyment and had good time, I didn't mind it.
What would you say are the greatest challenges you faced in your life? You've lived through a lot of different things. What would you say was your biggest challenge?
Your biggest challenge that you've lived through in your years.
The
Challenge. The biggest challenge that you've lived through in your life. What have you lived through has been a challenge for you?
Challenge.
Yes.
And
yes.
talent.
Challenge, Auntie. What have you done that it has challenged you to do things even better? Hardship that you've gone through, but you've overcome. Hardship things.
I really didn't have no hardship, because let me tell you, the man who was over, he was named Mr. Drake. He was over the children, he was a truant officer. He knew my dad. So when I was in school, and my older sister was in school, he gave my other sister a job to keep his motel. The motels are still existing in Titusville. So finally, he said, since she come and work after school hours from school, he said, I'm going to give you all a job. So we worked there until I finished high school. And that's how we made our little money. And later on, when I went to college, the superintendent of schools, he used to come and get me to come and babysit his daughter. So during that time, he said, you cannot eat. I could clean up his house, but I couldn't eat to the table with them. So his daughter said, if she cannot eat to the table with us, I'm not going to eat too. So during that time, that's when I started working with the other races, because they had me going with them because it wasn't bad. I knew the other people, but then I could sit down there and eat with them and have a good time. So they was not mean to me during that time.
Great. But you must have seen a lot of changes over the years in your community.
I did.
Okay.
I did. A lot of people.
What were some of the changes you seen in the neighborhood, Auntie? In your neighborhood, what changes did you see was made?
The changes in my neighborhood I saw very little. South Street was the street we knew about. It wasn't but one street. My dad had almost 2 acres of land. So he, the attorney came and said, if we did not give permission to have the road to go to our property, they were going to take the land. So that was one change. From Side Street to Park Avenue, that's how the land went out, or like the Walmart and all of it, because my dad had to give up so much land. All the changes also where the blacks used to go and like this party and to the restaurant, all that land was sold to the white. That's where the courthouse and all of it. All those, that's where the changes came in. But as far as changes back in my neighborhood, very little changes was done. All that was done downtown Titusville.
Okay, great. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this morning. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I want to show you, well, actually, before we go, let me show you a couple pictures and see if you remember anything.
You remember any of those people you know on that picture?
Well, that's Mr. Moore. I know these people.
Go ahead, tell them.
Mr. Moore, Victoria Rogers, Wilhelmina Gilbert. This was my principal right here down the coast when she ran. Sadie Gibson, Bernice Warren, and that was her brother Walter Wynn. So I knew all those people right there. It was in front of the school. That was our school.
Great. Well, let me show you this one too and see if you recognize those
You know
folks.
any of those people?
All right. I see Mr. Moore here
Right?
and Ms. Moore.
And I think those are Peaches and Evangeline, I believe. But we were wondering about the gentleman sitting there.
That was 1944. Look, I knew him, but I know some of these people I do know.
Okay. All right. Thank you.